Hey, Seattle hockey fans, welcome to this edition of Locked on Kraken. We are coming to you live because today is a game day for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. They are in a must-win game, Game 6 at Acrisure Arena. We're gonna talk about. Sorry, I've got a little echo here. I'm listening to myself. Sorry about that. This is live, baby. Now you know it's really live. So we're going to talk about game 5. We're going to get you ready for game 6. And then also we're going to talk a little bit about Jessica Campbell. That's all coming up on this episode of Locked on Kraken.
You are Locked on Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? Sorry about the technical difficulties there, but it is a live stream. Thank you, as always, for making Locked on Kraken a part of your daily routine. We're coming to you live as your pregame right before Game 6, a very important Game 6 for the Coachella Valley Firebirds as they find themselves behind in the series, 3-2. We had a 2-game lead before we went on the road to play the Hershey Bears. And that has been squashed. The Hershey Bears win 3 consecutive games on their home ice to really push the Coachella Valley Firebirds to the limit. On the one hand, it's a wasted opportunity when you go up 2 games and you can't find a road win. You have to win road games in postseason. Doesn't matter the sport. On the other hand, it is an opportunity for this team to continue to chip away at what they've been doing well. So we're going to break down this game, but thank you as always for making, as I said, Locked on Kraken a part of your daily routine. The everydayers, you know, we've been talking about the Coachella Valley Firebirds for a while now, and we're going to get into it. Megan is asking if this is a pride hat, and no, it is actually the Black History Month hat for the Seattle Kraken in season 1, because it is Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. For those who maybe are not familiar, Juneteenth marks the day that Galveston, Texas announced to enslaved people that they were free. Now, why is that important? Because it happened a whole 2 years after, I'm going to repeat that, happened a whole 2 years after the rest of the United States had officially abolished slavery. So I'm wearing my Black History Month hat, Seattle Kraken hat, and I'm wearing my Honor Juneteenth New York Liberty t-shirt. But yes, it is still Pride, so happy Pride. But let's get into this. Hey, we're happy to have you. Glad the scheduling worked out. This is a big game, folks, for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Again, missed opportunity not to get at least one win. At least one win, exactly, Black History Month hat. And you know what? They didn't play great in some of those games in Hershey, PA. They just didn't. And you know what was the coup de grace? The discipline, a lack of discipline. And if you've been watching the show or have been joining us on the live streams, then you know we've been speaking to Jason Hernandez, who is the voice of the Coachella Valley Firebirds for your in-arena experience. He's the PA announcer for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, also happens to be a Locked On host. He hosts Locked On Ducks, and he talked to us and we both were trying to figure out where the discipline is, because if not for a mistake here or there, quite honestly, the Seattle Kraken affiliate, the Coachella Valley Firebirds, have been in these games. So now you have, to me, this speaks of a mentality thing. And I do think Joey Decord has been solid, but I thought he was great. And I do mean great in the game that Coachella Valley dropped. So let's take you over to the stats over at AHL.com. And we're gonna talk about goaltending first, because obviously in a game that goes into overtime, in a game that is a one nothing score line, yeah, goaltending was the difference. But you can see right here, Joey Daccord, third star, faced 31 shots, made 30 saves. And that's 10 more. That's 10 more goals than Hunter Shepard had to face, who was your second star. And then you probably guessed, but Garrett Pilon, he scored the game-winning goal. But you know what else stood out to me? Talking about discipline. Look at this. Once again, Hershey had 5 power play opportunities, including. Now, if you were watching the game, you probably saw and heard that the Hershey fans were irate right before the goal. They were really upset because another penalty looked like it was going to be called. And honestly, I don't know if it would have been a delayed penalty, but I mean, it didn't matter because again, Pilon scored. But the discipline, the lack of discipline has been really tough to see for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, because again, they lose this game 1-0. What was it? 3-2 scoreline. 5-4 the other day with the other overtime game? That's heartbreaking, because these are things that you just have to refine. Another thing that we have been talking about and that we have been discussing, particularly with Jason Hernandez, is that the Coachella Valley Firebirds, their passing has not really been great. Riker Evans, he was really doing some great possession and puck handling. And on the one hand, I liked that. You see, he had an interference call there. On the one hand, I liked that. On the other hand, I thought he had to put in too much work. I thought he was doing way too much. And I want this team to get back to some fluidity. When they play a fluid game, that's when they're at their best, much like their big bros, if you will, for the Seattle Kraken. And so to see them struggle, to see them maybe play a little bit of hero hockey, that's tough. I did like what Joey Daccord did in net. I thought his rebound control was a lot better. So we're going to look at some stats. I've kind of alluded to some of the Achilles heels, if you will, of this matchup for the Coachella Valley Firebirds as they are taking on the Hershey Bears. The discipline is really what it is. And the Hershey Bears, they are relentless. They've been really strong on their forecheck, and that has made the difference. They have the Coachella Valley Firebirds on the back heel right now. So are there things that Coachella Valley can do? Absolutely. Is it going to help that they're at home? Well, statistically speaking, just looking at this series, they've won every home game. We also talked about this probably sometime last week, and Jason and I have talked about this. Not completely surprised to see that this series is going to have to go the distance if Coachella Valley is going to win the Calder Cup. But also, every time Coachella Valley has advanced, it has happened on home ice. So yeah, they like playing at home. And so again, we're going to go over some stats. We're going to go over some facts. And then at the end of the show, I want you to get to know Jessica Campbell. And we'll also talk about Grant Fuhr a little bit more. But there's some recent profiles on those two. Jessica Campbell, of course, the assistant coach for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, and is the first woman coach in the AHL. Of course, there's a lot of history on the line for her. She's already made history. And should Coachella Valley push for a Game 7, obviously there's some obvious history. I just used obvious twice. There's some history on the line there as well. But there's a lot of work that the coaching staff and the rest of the team has to do if we want to have that come through. Hey, Ann Kimmel, I see you here. I'm a PA girl, but I want to see the Firebirds win this. They are a great team who took advantage of some Milwaukee mistakes in our series. Yeah, and you know this, that series almost went the full 7 games, but it's about taking advantage of mistakes. And the Coachella Valley Firebirds have kept the Hershey Bears, or maybe allowed the Hershey Bears to have hope. And that's what Jason and I talked about on our last live stream. They've given the Hershey Bears hope. And the way the format is in the AHL, the road team, so the lower seed, has 3 games in the middle of the series at home. Coachella Valley couldn't disrupt that for Hershey. Hershey stuck it out. They got hope in game 3, chipped away again in game 4, and we saw what they did in game 5. So let's talk about what the Firebirds need to do if they want to force a game 7. That's coming up on this episode of Locked On Kraken. But this episode of Locked On Kraken is brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. And I love this read, and it's really apropos for us this postseason, because for a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time. And you just add whatever vehicle you have to your My Garage section, and then you look for a green check. So any part that you need, you get a green check, you know it's going to fit. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Thanks as always for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily routine. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, bringing you your favorite team every single day. Today is I almost said a squadcast. I love my squadcast, but this is not a squadcast. It is a game day episode. We're coming a little late. I'm also a little sweaty. We've had some rough weather here in Tulsa, and so the power's been going in and out. So I've been trying to keep the AC low. That's also why we're going a little bit later. Anyway, it's a game day. It's an important game day at Acrisure Arena. So we got to get fired up. We know Fuego, not Friero. That was for you, Ann. But Fuego is going to be in the house, hyping up the crowd. Our guest, Jason Hernandez, who's been riding this finals with me. Of course, not only is your voice, your PA voice of the Coachella Valley Firebirds, so he's in arena tonight, getting ready for puck drop in just a little bit, but he's also a member of the Locked On Podcast Network. He is the host of Locked On Ducks, and we're so proud of Jason. I know it's been an exciting time for him. If you've seen us on the live stream or on the episodes where he's been on, he's got a pretty nice playoff beard. I cannot grow a playoff beard. I also have never tried, so maybe I could, but also no, I will not be doing that. But kudos to you, Jason. And we didn't do a live watch party, and we're not going to do one tonight. Again, power is just a little funky right now here, so I'll be keeping an eye on the game, but I can't guarantee that I can stream the whole thing. But Jason Hernandez was on the stream, and he was talking to Grant Fuhr and Gino. And speaking of Grant Fuhr, we're going to talk about him and Jessica Campbell later on the show. But let's get into this. It's a game day. I told you it's a game day. It's a must win. It's a must win for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Let's just remind you what this road to the finals has looked like for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. I've mentioned that they've had to go the distance every single time. I mean, every single time. You know, they went the distance with the Tucson Roadrunners, got the win in game 1. Then Tucson gets a 4-3 win in game 2. Coachella Valley Firebirds get the win 5-1 advance. Who do we take on? The Calgary Wranglers. And, you know, we were able to, or excuse me, it was the Eagles. Excuse me. The Eagles first. We'll get to the Wranglers in a minute. We take game 1, 6-2. Then we drop game 2, 3-2. Colorado gets a 1-0 win. So we're seeing a little bit of a pattern already. Firebirds get a 4-3 win. And then we get a 5-0 win in game 5. So we advance. So again, off the hop, really good for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Then whatever the middle of the series is, 3 games, 5 games, we slip a little and we start to see tight games. But then when we get locked, when we get loaded, when we get back to Acrisure Arena, that's when the magic happens. We saw that with the Eagles. I mentioned the Wranglers. This was a 5-game series. This is when we took them on. It was a 6-3 win for us, for the good guys, in game 1. Then Calgary gets a 3-2 win in game 2. The Coachella Valley Firebirds over Calgary in game 3. What was the score? 3-2. 2 back-to-back close games. Similarly to what we've seen in the final. We had 2 overtime games already. Then another close game, a 1-0 scoreline. I mean, it's uncanny how many parallels there are. And then a 6-5 win. So here's what I'm saying. It's a high chance that this is another close game. We have to win this game. When the Coachella Valley Firebirds have to win a game, they're usually scoring a 5 spot. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just pointing out the trends here. Then it was a 7-game series against the Admirals. How did it go down? We, of course, win game 1. Pattern. That's what we do. We also won game 2. Both of those games at Acrisure Arena. 6-4 game 1, 5-3 game 2. Milwaukee takes game 3, 3-1. Milwaukee takes game 4, 5-2. Milwaukee and the Coachella Valley Firebirds are still at Milwaukee. 2-1 win for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, and then take care of business at Acrisure Arena, 4-3. So that was the tightest series, especially down to the wire. So what have we seen in this series? 5-0 win and a 4-0 win for the Coachella Valley Firebirds in the first 2 games at Acrisure Arena. And then again, the AHL format is that you'll have the lower seed have their chunks of games right in the middle of the series. I think that's a little strange, but Jason and I were talking about it comparative to what we see in the NHL. Probably has a lot to do with travel costs, things of that nature. So in game 3, that's when we get that 5-4 OT win for the Hershey Bears. They have hope. We had to come back in that game. Wasn't pretty. But again, at least we could do that. 3-2 win in game 4 for the Hershey Bears. Again, not a great performance. An uninspired performance, I believe, is what I kept saying when we were doing the live stream. And then I already mentioned the, the 1-0 game in game 5. So what are we expecting? What do we need to see? Well, we got to see a lot. Here's what it looks like. The power play at home for the Coachella Valley Firebirds is just a scotch better than it is overall. The away power play, 15%. We're at a 21% clip at home and essentially a 19% clip overall. Now, the penalty kill is actually better on the road. Obviously, we saw that we gave Hershey 5 power play opportunities. They came up with a big goose egg. So on the one hand, I like that we're good on the penalty kill. What was it? It must have been game 4. Questionable PK. Right off the hop, we give up a power play goal in the first 5 minutes of the game. So, but the PK, 77% at home. So we'll see what we can do there. The goals for, I misread that. We still got to work on the PK, but it's actually an 86% clip, at home. So, all right, we've got some hope there. The goals for 82 goals. So we can score 82 goals compared to Hershey's 49. Now we give up 57. The Hershey Bears give up 40 goals. So it's a 17 goal swing. All right, we've kind of seen that play out. The Hershey Bears can be really stingy defensively, and I really like it. You know, I like defense. So I really like what we're seeing from them defensively. I think if I look at the games at Hershey, the Bears use their defense to drive their offense. What do I mean by that? They're comfortable. They are extremely comfortable defensively. I likened it to, if anyone knows Willie Mays, he was a baseball player, played for the New York Giants and then the San Francisco Giants, but I'm from New York. So anyway, played for the New York Giants. And what was he known for? I mean, he was known for a lot of things, but if you hear someone say, oh, you made a Willie Mays catch, that usually means when you run for a ball in outfield, who's an outfielder, you'll see an outfielder at some point in time raise their arm to catch the ball so that they catch it in midair. Not Willie Mays. Willie Mays would run. And then at the very last second, flip his, flick of the wrist, catch the ball, like it was nothing. That's how Hershey plays defense. They let the Coachella Valley Firebirds almost walk in to the slot. And as if there's a centering pass, a cross ice pass, someone coming down the slot at the very last second, just when you think you're in the clear, boom, they go body to body, boom, they go stick to stick, and your threat is eliminated. I love watching it, except for the fact that it's against the Coachella Valley Firebirds. But that's what they do. The Coachella Valley Firebirds need to really harness their possession, because when you have a team that's that good defensively, when you have a goaltender like Hunter Shepard who's playing right there, he's going toe-to-toe with Joey Decord. He's seeing fewer shots. Well, everyone in the playoffs is seeing fewer shots than Joey Decord, which tells me what? Also, the Firebirds have to get their life together on defense. We'll talk about that in a bit. But offensively, the Coachella Valley Firebirds have had very little coordination. They're not in sync, and they're not passing. I said kind of like the hero hockey, Riker Evans, I thought was playing a little bit. They have to start passing through the tight defense of the Hershey Bears. They have to start playing a little bit below the goal line to take the goalie's eyes away. And I mean, it's a saying, and I'm being a little facetious here. That is true. But you know what else? It happens is that sometimes you'll either get the defenders that will stop on either side of the post, or sometimes they'll follow you below the goal line and around the goal, which means what? That they're out of position because they're trying to win the puck back. If you can effectively pass the puck through that, find the open lane, find the open player, then boom. We're not doing that. We're carrying the puck too much. I mean, Riker Evans did he was just circling around and around and around. And on the one hand, I say, yeah, pass the puck, dude. But also, where was everybody else? Get open. Create a lane. Use your body to create space for your teammate. What the heck is going on? I think we're just kind of, I don't know what we're doing, quite honestly, sometimes offensively. The game plan, we know that this team can score, but they're just not attacking. They're not bringing numbers forward. They're not crashing the net. I think that when we see them be effective, like when they came back in that first overtime game, they were doing all of that. They were possessing the puck. They were passing the puck. They were crashing the net, and they were picking up rebounds. They were also being strategic and not just doing the dump and chase, chip and charge. And that's what they have to do, because again, Hershey stands them up right on the blue line. And I get it. But if you're going to do that, then you have to haul buns into the offensive zone and go find the puck now, right? And then when you have the puck and you're in the offensive zone, make Hershey move. Make them move laterally. I want to see more of that. You have to be able to play that kind of hockey. You're not just going to have Max McCormick, Cameron Hughes just barrel through everyone. They have to start taking hard shots from the blue line and be aggressive and find the 50-50 pucks, find the rebounds, find some garbage time goals. They're going to have to work for it. Obviously. If they lose, that's it. Someone else, some other guy in the visitors' locker room for the first time ever gets to raise the Calder Cup in Acrisure Arena. So you make history in Acrisure Arena, but not in a good way. Is that what you want? Is that what you want, Coachella Valley? No. Imagine having a housewarming party and like someone else gets engaged at your housewarming. What? That's the first thing that came to my mind. I feel like that's like hella disrespectful. Or like, someone gets engaged at your wedding. I don't know. Something like that. No, nope, not happening. So we can't have that happen. And so I think it is going to come down to how much determination, as our lovely coach of the Seattle Kraken, Dave Haxtell, might say, doesn't believe that momentum carries shift or game to game. So that's good for us. Because again, Hershey has hella momentum coming over to the West Coast. It's about determination. And does Seattle have enough determination? I mean, I went on a rant. We're about ready for puck drop. So we're going to have to learn a little bit about Jessica Campbell a little bit later. If you want to stick around for that, I'll do it quickly. If not, let's get ready for puck drop. We have an everydayer who's there at Game 6. We have Jason Hernandez will be your PA voice if you're at Acrisure Arena. Stick around if you have time. If you want to head over, of course, the game is going to be on Root Sports. I will not hold it against you, but we'll talk a little bit about Jessica Campbell, her history, and also Grant Fuhr, who you will hear on the broadcast. That's coming up on Locked on Kraken. Thanks as always for making Locked on Kraken. Hello. Not today at least, maybe your last listen of the day. Thanks for making us a part of your daily routine. Oh man, I want to see more from this team. You know me. I'm gonna be the realist here. I'm gonna be the one that gets you fired up, right? That's our catchphrase. Get fired up. I'm gonna get you fired up, all right. I also just realized I was in the wrong microphone all this whole time. Anyway, maybe you hear me better. I'm gonna get you fired up. What I want is I want beautiful passing. I want determination. I want to play for the love of all things, a disciplined game. The Hershey Bears, you saw it immediately at Acrisure, that they were losing in a big way, 5-0, 4-0, and they figured out how to get under the Firebirds' skin. They figured it out, saw it clear as day. It started in the third period of game 1. And you know what? The Firebirds played right into that game. They played right into it. You got to be more disciplined, boys. All that chirping that they're doing, because Hershey's, I don't know what they're saying, but they're saying some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't get mushed the way that Hershey's been getting mushed after every single whistle. A Firebirds player finds a Hershey Bears player. That doesn't happen unless you're saying some wild stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're saying some wild stuff. You're being hella disrespectful, Hershey. That's your game plan. All right, fine. Do your thing. I talk smack. I do it all the dang time. Hello, Vegas. Didn't really work out for me this season, but it's a part of the game. People talk smack. They have their opinions. They get under your skin. You have to play your game. And Coachella Valley hasn't done that in 3 games. The upside is that we have played well throughout the regular season and have earned the home ice advantage. So if you can't win on the road, and we won't have to if the series goes to 7, then you really got to get it done at Acrisure Arena. You really got to get it done. Crowd's going to be fired up. There's a new signature drink. I believe it's called the Comeback Boys. Tequila. What is it? It's a bunch. It sounds delicious, and it's got a spicy salt rim. So yeah, we need to get a little spicy, but responsibly. Drink responsibly. Check responsibly. I feel like that should be a t-shirt. I don't know. Make it sound better than that. Check responsibly. clean hits. Don't let them play mind games with you. Just put it in your head that you're not leaving the ice without a win. That's really all. That's all I want. Know this, that if this team, if the Firebirds decide to not leave the ice without a win, that's it. It's over. And then all bets are off for Game 7. So when is Game 7? Well, we have the game today. And then if necessary, Game 7 would be Wednesday, January 21st at 7 p.m. So we didn't get to Jessica Campbell, but she has been a guest on this very show. We didn't do video for that. She was in, and I love this, I'm going to have to do a story on it. She was in the locker room that is dedicated to women coaches. The Seattle Kraken have not had a woman coach yet, but in their practice facility, they had already, before they hired Jessica Campbell, made a space that is a women's coaches. That sounds weird. A locker room for women coaches. I love that. I love this franchise, and I think we still have some magic with our AHL team, but now it's time to get ready. Gino, Grant, they're going to give us the call. We'll get more into Jessica Campbell. I want an epic rant again because that's what I am liking to do. Thanks as always for making Locked on Kraken a part of your daily routine. We are your favorite team every single day as a part of the Locked on Podcast Network. You can find us on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. You can find us on the audio platform. This is going up a little bit later if you listen on audio, and it's time for the puck drop. So be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. We're going to hold fast and stay true, this time directing it towards the Coachella Valley Firebirds. And it's about that time. Let's get fired up. All right, everyone. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.